I wanted to make this video. I'm like a child, very happy that I finally got this. I was for a long time considering it's a good idea, but it's a big investment and it's still just a hobby, non-profit one for me. But I think this will help me work better, nicer, and help a lot more people. I mostly do things for friends and relatives, but there's many of them. And what I wanted to say is the main idea behind buying a thing like this is that it doesn't take a lot of space in my workspace, because when I mount all this on top, it takes a very small amount of space. But it provides me a lot of capacity for tools, while also, thanks to having these drawers be so shallow, it will let me stack things in only one row. So when I pull out a drawer, I can easily see all the tools that I need. I don't have to dig in a deep drawer. So that's one thing. And I would also like to caution you that you should put stuff on the bottom ones first and fill it out from the bottom, and put heavier stuff here if possible to make it be more stable, because it is not made of steel, it's plastic, and it's not as stable as very expensive steel tool trays. That's a fact, and I think it's a good idea to keep that in mind. So I would first fill this one with screws and bolts, and only then go to fill this other one. And the same goes for taking the drawers out. If you pull one drawer out, try to have most, if possible, all the other drawers put inside, so that you don't put a lot of weight past its center of gravity, because even though these wheels are a bit more to the front, they are not all the way to the front. And if they did make that, it would make you easy to catch it with your foot and trip. So I understand why they decided to make a compromise, and I'll see how it works in practice for me. And so far I'm hoping for the best. Hi and welcome. And today I will be assembling this Keter tool tray that has wheels and that is modular. I'll talk a bit about it and show how it works and how it's assembled. So the basic idea is that for me, having a tool tray that has drawers and a top section is very convenient, especially if it is on wheels, because I can move it anywhere that I am working to be close at hand and to have the tools that I need. Even though I have good wall mounts and everything, it's even more convenient when I'm working with a tool tray. The problem is that I work mostly as a hobby, so paying a ton of money for me was not an option, and a local bicycle shop bought this. This is made by Keter. I think that is owned by the company called Curver, C-U-R-V-E-R, and their plastic tool boxes and sorting small bit parts boxes are very good and durable. I have some that are over 20 years old or something like that. So I also heard good feedback from that bicycle shop. They say it's worked there for 2 years now in a busy bike shop, so it's probably not a really bad quality. And that's why I decided to buy it. And it cost, this whole set along with wheels cost about $200. I paid for this part that has one big drawer with a way to divide it in two on 3 different places, in the middle and on the quarters, if you like, and one smaller tray, and it has another addition that comes with it, and I bought this separately. So in total these were $200 roughly, with this set costing roughly $150 or $120, $30, and this being the rest. So the thing that I like about this is that it does look to be a good design. You can place a part on top of each other and lock them together. I'll show that. So here it stays and I can just lock it. and on the other side there's the same one. Also, another neat thing is that you can, when you put all the drawers inside all the way, if you press on this upwards, it locks it. So they cannot be open when you're moving it around or put it at an angle or transport it or similar. And also here is a hole, so you can put a small padlock so that no one can very conveniently, very easily unlock it and open it. So not really thief proof because this is plastic, but so that you at least can clearly see if someone was fiddling with it without very high lock picking skills. So that's one thing that that comes with it that I like. And it also has wheels. These are the wheels. This is the outer section is a bit rubbery, and they have a way to be locked so that it doesn't slide around the workshop, and that's very nice idea. And they are easily, you just press them in on the lower section once you mount them. They come with these mounting bolts that you screw it in, and then you press it in from below. Here is what that looks like. So this longer section is for the front. I will explain why. So the front wheel goes a bit further out, and so all you do is just press it inside and hit it, and it's locked. So then you have wheels. Of course, I haven't completely assembled this. And before I go with assembly, let's just show another thing. There is a drawer for small parts. So you can, this one also has the lowest drawer of the upper section is for the small parts that you can easily take out. And I really like that because this is 4 by 4. So in total you have 16 sections. And the good thing about all the drawers is they draw out 100%. So you can reach any part of any tool, any part that you want, it's visible clearly. And that's why these wheels are made to stick a bit further up front to help with balance so that it doesn't tip over. And that's very convenient, because if you have a drawer that goes like this, okay, with this it would be impossible to reach. But with this one I could reach a tool, but I have to, where is it, which one? So that's good, and it has decent rails that in my favorite bicycle shop have not been damaged or destroyed, so I suppose it's strong enough. And now for mounting these wheels, I will briefly just show it. Let's mount one. I need a Phillips screwdriver size 2, and this metal section, it has some wiggle room, but it slides in place, and so you just get the screw in and screw in it all the way. I would advise that you put all the 4 screws, some 99% down, without tightening them, and once that you have all 4 down, then only then to start tightening. And when you start tightening this, give some resistance as you're screwing these screws into plastic, but once it reaches the end, you will feel the torque very rapidly becoming increased. You will feel it going a lot harder very rapidly. When you reach that point, that's enough so you don't break the plastic. That's one thing. Another thing that I want to show is that I would put some more grease on this. Let me show you. It has, this pivot has 2 sets of bearings. One is, let me just show it here. One is here on this end, and the other is on the other end, where this is put with this, I'm not sure what it's called in English, but it's pressed so that it would spin freely. And I will put some more grease on this. And I will do that after I mount it so that I don't get grease everywhere. So I just smear some grease on it with a grease gun, and then clear out the extra. I will show it on this that I've already assembled. So here is what I think might be a good idea. This is lithium complex grease that I'm using. So it's compatible with most with vast majority of greases that are generally used, and I highly doubt they use some exotic, very expensive grease for this, so I have no problems and no fear with using this. And so this is not perfect, and I'm not able to get a huge amount of grease inside here to the bearings, but that is all right. I just want a little bit of grease added all the way around, and I will clean all the excess, and this being added lithium complex grease should work well for years probably. So that's what it looks like. I'll give it a bit of a spin and just wipe off the excess. This may be completely unnecessary, but I will sleep better after having done this. So this stays down, so the grease will attract a bit more dust perhaps. Maybe it's a bad idea for very dusty working conditions, but where I work it's not that big of a problem, and I want to prevent this from getting rusted, seized or anything. So and this grease is not very soft, so it will not fall out, drip out in the sun or when it's hot or similar, even if I left this somewhere in the hot sun, and though I don't think it would be good for plastic also. I also disassembled the wheels. They are screwed on with this bolt that acts as an axle, and this with a plastic seal, with a plastic insert screw, so it doesn't unscrew over time from vibrations. And this is all bone dry, and I think it's a good idea to lubricate it, so that's what I will try to do now. Yes, a very, very small amount of grease, so I'll put some more. Coat it with grease, insert, wipe off the excess, and put some grease on the bolt itself to prevent it from getting rusty or similar. Okay. Now I can try to mount it back. So this is what I do. Put this back in, insert this through, take it on the other side. Now put this nut, screw it on, and this is 10mm bolt. This is about 5 Nm of torque, and it's enough. The axle has a distancer, so you cannot screw it too tightly so that these prevent the wheel from turning, because the axle itself has a widened part in the middle, so you can just screw this to the end and that's it. So now it's ready to be assembled. This is what it looks like fully assembled. This is the height and the dimensions. You can lock the wheels to prevent it from sliding around the workshop floor. So bulky soles, working shoes. So what I want to do here is to make one adjustment, and I will make something out of iron rods. You have holes on the ends, and I wish to make a structure so that I can put this to be at hand always when I'm working, and to not take half the space here. So that's my goal. If I don't forget, I'll make a video about that too, what it looks like. But now I'm excited as a small child. I cannot wait to start sorting my tools, to see how I will use all these drawers and I will aim to use the minimum number of drawers because tools always seem to pile up over time, so to have some headroom to spare. And what did I want to say? It's I'll see how practical it is, but based on my experience with my previous do-it-yourself model of tool tray, I do find it very practical and convenient to use the tools that are on the tray, even though I have tools at hand on the shelf, but those that I use most of the time will probably end up here, and it keeps them protected from dust and moisture, so I think it's a good idea. I had a problem with the model that I got a few days earlier, so this is a second take, as they say in films, a few days later. And it really is a few days later. I got two left-sided carriers for the wheels, so they are not symmetrical, as you can see, so you cannot mount them any other way, and I had no way to mount both. And the company that is the representative for this company in Serbia, superalati.rs, they arranged for a courier to come, pick up the faulty product, and then they, in a few days, told me that they are sending me a new one, the proper one. And so I got the new one, but also got the faulty one back. And even though I don't have now two tool trays, because this one hasn't got functioning wheels, I might hack this somehow, but that's not my plan. I plan to use this as extra tool trays that will be stationary. I have a niche in my workshop that is where this fits just right, so I will have some more nice drawers for tools, and you can never have too many of those. And so that's it. I'm very pleased with the customer service. I don't know if the representatives of this company are as good in every country, but as far as representatives in Serbia go, I am very pleased. That is as good as you can possibly solve a problem, a warranty problem. And in my opinion, the difference between a good and the bad service is not where the problems happen. Problems always happen. Only those who never do any work don't ever make mistakes or problems. But the difference boils down to whether problems are something that is an exception, which is rare, or something that is the norm. That's one thing. And the other thing is when problems happen, how they are dealt with. And in this case, in my experience with buying tools from the noted company, I've always had a very good experience. And the first and only time so far that I had a problem, it was resolved as, how do I say, as best as I can possibly imagine it being resolved. So really happy so far, and I'll know in a few months and years whether this was a good investment. And so far, for my use case, I am expecting it will be, but I'll make a follow-up video probably in a year or so if I don't forget. So another note, this I don't know what this is called in English, for sorting the small bits. The standard ones that I usually find and use look a bit like this, and the problems with design like this is that this is all square angles, and so it's difficult when you're near the bottom to get some small parts. They get stuck in the corner and something like that. That's one problem. Another problem with those that have these brackets that you can sort of sort out the way you like it, make it bigger or smaller. Well, that design poses a problem when you have some very small parts like these 5mm washers, and those are they will get beneath these and slide into another bracket, and so get mixed up. So I hold them like this, and that's very impractical when I need to use them. I need to unscrew it, take out as much as I need, and so on. And in this case, let me show you. First of all, these are easy to take out. Each individual that you wish to take out goes out, and they seem pretty stable, so they don't tip over. Very good design. But on the back side they are flat, so they don't tip over. But on the inside they have a curve. So when something gets in a corner, like the last nut, and I want to take it I have no problems. In my opinion, this, of course, even more obvious would be to do this, but if you have a few, you don't have to take them all. You take one very easily. And so this looks very promising, and I think that someone who uses tools and uses their head designed this, and I am looking forward to replacing the bolts and nuts that I use most of the time, and washers and some cable and housing ends into, I have 2 of these on this toolbox, and I plan to use them accordingly, so looking forward to that. And that's I had to talk about this because it looks like so obvious, like a simple thing, but someone had to think of it and make it, and not everyone does that, so I am very pleased. That's all I have for you today. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in some other video. Cheers.